The claim already failed. You kept reading because the chart looked clean. Carl T. Bergstrom and Jevon D. West present calling bullshit as a strategic filter. It functions as a safeguard to be used before your trust gets rented. A lie respects your schedule when it wears a costume of rigor. It provides a tidy source, a minimalistic design, and a precise-looking percentage because it knows you are busy. It mimics the shape of care to secure a fast yes. Your attention is a finite resource. Because you lack the hours to audit every metric that crosses your desk, relying on aesthetic polish as a proxy for accuracy becomes a survival tactic. This reliance on visual cues effectively turns your habit of trusting polished data into an outsourced judgment mechanism. Bad claims succeed by dressing for your standards rather than attempting to defeat your intelligence. Professionals survive the daily data flood by using specific shortcuts: source authority, clean design, a confident tone, and impressive credentials. Saving mental energy is a feature of human biology. It allows the brain to prioritize complex tasks by automating simpler evaluations. However, the mind relaxes its defenses the moment a statistical model speaks in a soft voice or a chart stands up straight on the screen. This transition from saving cognitive energy to surrendering judgment marks the beginning of modern misinformation success. You likely operate with a specific, confident internal logic. I trust rigorous claims because careful claims show their evidence. That belief makes you vulnerable to mathiness. This is the performance of rigor through the use of footnotes, complex graphs, and algebraic formulas that project authority without containing factual validity. If rigor can be performed through graphic design, then visual polish cannot be used as proof of truth. Carl Sagan's baloney detection spirit once framed vigilance as a civic virtue focused on checking facts after a claim was made. Bergstrom and West argue that today, fact-checking arrives too late. Data-shaped claims distort your trust before a fact can even be investigated. Consequently, the signals you use for trust require demotion. A clean chart can open the door, but it should not be permitted to run the house. Replace the feeling of trust with a structural inspection. Your first task is to find the denominator. Identify the base. Look at who was entered into the count, and more importantly, determine who was deliberately excluded to manufacture the final result. Second, inspect the comparison group. Is the number being measured against last year, industry peers, or a rigged market designed to make the outcome look inevitable? Third, watch for the invisible leap from correlation to causation. Two lines moving in parallel on a chart do not make one the engine of the other. Selection bias frequently wears the face of success, just as percentages sound brave while hiding a weak base. This analytical framework provides the foundation for calling bullshit. Finding the denominator creates a necessary friction. It slows your hand and forces a moment of reflection before you share the data. A polished data claim entering your mind behaves exactly like a foreign pathogen entering a vulnerable host ecology. A petri dish does not ask whether a bacterial colony is evil. It only asks whether the current conditions support its growth. Your mind can test surface markers using 5 rapid questions. Who is the source? What is the base? What is the comparison? What is the cause? What is the motive? A data frame dictates the actual weight of a claim, regardless of the numerical evidence attached to it. Shifting your focus to the bridge between a fact and the demand it makes causes the dashboard to lose its spell. The confident voice loses its rent-free space in your head. Testing the frame instead of chasing every individual fact builds an early immune response, stopping the claim before it requires a full audit. You will eventually recognize a bad claim in a meeting and feel the immediate fear of looking difficult, slow, or intensely negative. You face a choice between calling out bad data and risking social friction, or staying quiet and becoming a carrier that helps the misinformation spread. Bad claims thrive in polite, tired rooms, where speed feels like a virtue and nobody wants to pause the momentum. Treat calling bullshit as a form of map maintenance rather than a status attack on the speaker. Protect the group's shared reality by asking one clean structural question, such as, what is the comparison group? If a claim cannot survive a clean structural question, it was asking for obedience rather than thought. Polished claims trap you much more effectively than obvious falsehoods by weaponizing your natural desire to save attention. A cognitive immune system functions to keep the mind functional and discerning. Its purpose is to allow you to interact with reality without being constantly manipulated by those who dress their claims in rigor. Absolute purity is not the goal, as everyone will inevitably be fooled again. The real benefits are faster recovery, less spread of bad information, and the ability for a professional mind to be corrected without shame. This practice ensures your intellect does not become a passive transit system for rot. Direct. Deep dive the philosophy at upgowise.com. Remember, check the frame, not the shine. Before anything else tomorrow, you will pick one claim you plan to repeat. Write its source, denominator, comparison group, and motive. Cut the claim if any single field fails.